Morning teachers. Hi, those of you who are tuning in, welcome. So just give me a couple moments to check and see if we are live. Looks like we're going live now. Great. So if you're tuning in today and you're watching this live, please drop a comment so I know that you're tuning in. And as part of today's session, we'll be actually going through some of the questions that you might have with regards to the upcoming 5-day Launch Your Yoga Career Challenge, which is happening from next Tuesday until next Saturday. So if this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Wenlin. It's such a pleasure to be here guiding you. I am the founder of The Art of Teaching Yoga. I'm a yoga instructor and a yoga teacher trainer, originally from Singapore, now based in Torino, Italy. And as part of today's session, I'll be sharing a little bit more about the upcoming 5-day challenge that some of you have already registered for. If you have not already registered, you'll be able to find the details within the group. I'll also drop the link in the chat later on. But if you need the link, please comment saying that you want it and you want to register. Okay, so this is really more of an interactive session, and if you have any questions at any point of time, please feel free to leave them in the comment box. I will be checking from time to time to see that to see if any of you guys have questions. So over the last couple of weeks and also from the last couple of months from 2020, many of you mentioned that you would like to receive more support with respect to more of the branding, more of the selling, more of the business aspect of launching your yoga business rather than the training aspect. And this is really what the upcoming 5-day challenge is about. Each of the 5 days is structured around one masterclass or one module, which will be focused on helping you build strong foundations for your business. So let me talk a little bit more about the structure of and the format of the upcoming 5-day challenge first, and then I'll dive into a little bit more about the content, what you can expect, how you should be preparing yourself if you've already registered for the program, and then at the end there'll be a little bit of time for Q&A if you have any questions. Okay, please feel free. Also let me know if you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from. I would love to hear from you. Okay, great. So for this 5-day challenge, every single day, I will be going live on Zoom. So you have to be registered on the registration page. And if you need the link, please comment in the box below saying, I need the link, and I'll share it with you. So the live timing is 1 p.m. Central Italian time or Central European time and 7 a.m. EST or 8 p.m. Singapore time. And it will be consecutively for 5 days from Tuesday all the way until Saturday. So not from Monday, from Tuesday until Saturday. Right, so you have Monday off to prepare, and to, if you guys are working and you're busy, you can use that time to settle anything that you might need. So very, very important this point, there will be no replay. So you have to tune in live. If you've registered for the program, you'll have to tune in live. So I know that some of you may have questions or objections, or can I get the link to the replay if I cannot join in live? Teachers, this has been structured in a way that meets most of your schedules, right? I'm scheduled the timing at lunchtime for you, those of you who are based in the EU, at the morning for those of you who are based in the US, and in the evenings for those of you who are based in Asia. So unfortunately, there will be no pre-recorded sessions. So let me explain my rationale behind this. So I want to really create value for you guys in this 5-day challenge. For it to be as much value as possible, the engagement has to be live. Right? Because we know that I know from my own experience offering pre-recorded classes, pre-recorded master classes, testimonials, right? Even sharing all the resources with you guys, right? As you're tuning in, how many of the master classes have you watched within this group or even outside of the group in the video section? Or that you didn't tune in live and you actually watch later on, right? Not many of you, right? So I really want to maximize this engagement and make it useful for you. So please, if you can, set aside the time and join in live. It will be much more valuable for you. Okay, and some of you had questions, how long will it be for? It will be roughly for 45 minutes. The last 10 to 15 minutes, in addition to the 45 minutes, will be time for question and answer. As I mentioned, many of these live masterclasses, right, in order for it to be super useful for you, it is a dialogue. it is a question and answer. It's not just me giving you information, because at the end of the day, this information must be useful for you to apply to your situation. And I really want to encourage you to take action. This is what this challenge is all about. Okay, and then throughout this 5-day challenge, right, you'll receive support and pointers in this group. So every day I will be posting the link to the homework in this group, and you have to check in this group. So in the Zoom call, I will also share the homework link, which brings me to my next point. So for those of you who have registered on this challenge, and also you're a registered yoga teacher, or if you're not yet, you are in the process of becoming, this 5-day challenge is accredited for 5 hours of continued education hours with Yoga Alliance USA. But, very, very important, you have to tune in live to all 5 sessions, be present, I will mark your attendance, and you have to complete the coursework for every single day. So every single day, I will be sharing with you a link to a Google Doc in which you will have to complete a couple of very simple and straightforward questions that are based on whatever module or whatever content was covered for that day. So just give me a moment. I've seen that there's a comment. It's a little bit tough managing 2 screens sometimes, and the platform is not quite so great. It's Rebecca. Hi, buongiorno, Rebecca. Nice to have you here. Okay, so going back to the point here. So if you would like to be accredited, please make sure. So I know that there are many different challenges floating out there, and probably you've participated in some challenges, but in order to make the challenge really useful for you, hop on and stay true until the end. This is why I've made it 5 CE hours for you guys, but only for those of you who complete everything. And whether or not, you eventually decide to hop on to other training programs that I will be offering later on in this year, I want to make sure that this 5 days and just 5 hours of your time over the next week is very, very useful for you. Okay, so let me see if you have any other additional questions at this point of time. Right, if not now, I'll talk a little bit more about the content. So for those of you who have already registered, probably you have seen the headlines already for the 5 main modules. For those of you who haven't yet, let me talk through them very quickly. And the first one on day 1, we'll be talking about how to stand out from the crowd. So let me talk a little bit about how this is important. Many of you may not understand the relevance of this. If you are teaching yoga classes right now, let's not even talk about a niche. Let's talk about specialization. So in this module, I'll be sharing with you 3 tips. Every single module or masterclass will be structured around 3 main learnings or 3 main points that you will gain from the masterclass that will help you deepen your knowledge and know what to do to take action for that specific area. And on day 1, it's about finding and carving your unique voice, your unique way of facilitating a class, of interacting with your students. This is day 1. Right, and I'll talk more about that later. If you want to prepare for that module, then I would advise you to look at the video, which is in the main group, so not in this group, which is in the Art of Yoga teaching page. Under the video section, there is one masterclass called 5 Steps to Finding Your Unique Style or Unique Voice. That will be helpful, and that will help to lay some groundwork to prepare you so that when you come in for the first day, it will not be just from scratch. For those of you who have already tuned into that, or you were part of, for example, the Confidence and Clarity Mentorship Program, which was last year, then some of this content will be familiar for you, but the exercises or the coursework for the day will still be useful for you. Okay, let's talk about day 2. So day 2 will be how to identify your students. This is very, very crucial. I do need to emphasize this even more, and I'm sure some of you would already be familiar with this content, but for those of you who are not familiar with this, please just let me talk a little bit more about this. The reason why, if for example now you're struggling to fill your classes, is mainly because you didn't identify or align with the right students yet. You didn't carve or you didn't create the kind of class that truly resonates with whoever it is you're meant to resonate. And in this module, I will offer 3 tips about how you can begin to find the right student for you. Right? Because every one of us, every single yoga instructor, yoga teacher has his or her, or your own unique strengths, your unique life experiences that will align uniquely with a certain clientele, a certain segment of students. So for example, my own life experiences has been in my previous line of work. Before I was a yoga instructor, I was a researcher. I'm also a really people person. I'm very extroverted. I'm also someone who really truly values authenticity. I'm also a very spiritual person. So these are all different aspects of myself. And the same would apply to you. And we'll dive deeper into this in the 5-day challenge. And so what we'll do is in the first day, we'll tease out what makes you unique, right? What you think really makes you stand out from the crowd. And then in the second day, leading on to that, you'll be able to then identify from your existing student pool, if you have, and if you don't have, from your existing social circle, which groups of people you might have the closest affinity with. And these people are then your ideal clients or your ideal potential clients. Okay, so that's day 2. And then day 3 will be about where to find these students. Because even if you know your ideal students, right, the point at the end of the day is you have to find them. And there are various ways of doing it. You can find them actively, proactively, as I've done with some of you guys, or you can let yourself be found. And because I'm also a creative and I also do illustration work and various other forms of creative work, there's this very famous illustrator and also book writer called Austin Kleon, and he has a book called really Show Your Work, which is just the fact about being vocal or being out there and letting yourself be found. And some of the ways of being found is by creating content. So many of you came across the art of teaching yoga because of a post that I wrote on various forums. So this is one of many different ways that you can let yourself be found. Creating a blog, a website, for example, setting up an Instagram page. We'll dive more into this in that module. Okay, and then on day 4, what we'll do is we'll be diving into, now you have identified how you can stand out from the crowd, and what your unique strength is, what your unique story is, what is your why, and then who that why uniquely aligns with and how you can help them. The next point is you know where they are, how they can find you. The next point is then to start to establish that connection. So it doesn't just end there once you found the student. It doesn't mean that immediately then they come to your classes, right? The connection is super important. How can you begin to hold space for your students? What does it mean to hold space for your students? What differentiates the experience between a yoga instructor who is just there to teach a 45-minute class and then that's it, goodbye, that's it, and someone whom you feel is has a special connection with you? So we will be looking into examples of like instructors or, for example, people in your life whom you've had that connection with, that you've seen as a mentor, as a role model, as someone who you consider as a teacher. And the same about for yourself, how you can then learn from them and you can then share this with your students and have the same kind of connection, the same kind of trust. And it doesn't come easy, it takes work, I have to be completely honest. Just like all this, for example, I started the art of teaching yoga last year, and it's been work putting up these videos, being here, listening to you guys, but it's something I truly care about. And if you really care about teaching and you want to teach with purpose and you want to share whatever it is that made you feel really alive as you were doing your yoga teacher training, then this is something that will really excite you. This module will excite you, how you can begin to connect and hold space for your students. Okay, and then the last one, a bonus, because I've been asking questions in the group. If you've seen from time to time, I ask surveys. I put surveys out there to ask you guys, what do you need help on? What are you using right now? This is all ways to connect with my audience or my community, and I'll teach you the same techniques and the same skills that you can use with your own community as well. And the last part, so after this listening, hearing, the next part is how you can begin to convey the value of whatever it is you offer to the people you want to support. And this is actually, in a nutshell, selling. I know many of you have mentioned that you really struggle with the idea of charging for your classes and you're not feeling confident, or even, for example, you may have the underlying belief that is yoga something that I should be charging for? How much should I even charge? Some of my students, they have lost their jobs, or they are in a terrible situation and they are financially very unstable. So how can I still teach yoga, and I want to make a sustainable living, but at the same time I have to meet the financial needs or the support of my students. So we'll be talking a little bit more about this, as well as, for example, just thinking about how you can begin to talk to people that you don't know yet and tell them about the value of whatever it is you're offering in a non-salesy, icky way that you can really share with pride, that you can share without feeling guilty, without feeling ashamed. So this is really what the last module will be like, and it will be focusing on. So as mentioned from before, I just want to emphasize again, every single day there will be coursework. So you are expected to set aside anything between 10 to 20 minutes. Some of you may take a little bit longer to do the coursework. For some of you, maybe you can finish it in 5 minutes. So every single day, 3 main learnings. And also every single day for the coursework, in the Google Doc link, which I will be sharing with you, there will be 3 questions. I think one of the days might have 4 questions, but in general, it's not a lot of homework, so don't worry. And the point of the homework is to spur you into action. I'm not asking you to take notes or to reflect on the things. A lot of the questions I'll be asking you in the homework will actually be useful, and I will be holding you accountable. So you're not going to get the 5 CE hours until all the homework has been handed in, viewed by me, and marked. So it will actually be marked as well. Which I think it's pretty important, right? Just the idea that many of you also mentioned at the beginning, when you joined the Art of Teaching Yoga, you felt that after leaving your yoga teacher training, there's no direction, there's no mentoring, there's no support. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to navigate? Am I doing this right or wrong? So with this 5-day challenge, know that I'm here supporting you, right? Know that as I'm sharing this knowledge with you, it is not just knowledge. I'm really here to encourage you, to spur you into action. I want to make this time very, very useful for you. And I want to make 2021 a very successful and very growth-centered year in order to get that review. Rebecca had a question, so she posted, do we have to be registered with Yoga Alliance to get this 5 CEUs? Great question. The 5 CEUs are for Yoga Alliance USA. So if you're not already registered, then I'm not sure how you will be able to get them. So this is the main question. So I know some of you are still in the midst of completing your yoga teacher training. One thing you can explore, and this is, I'm not sure if it's actually possible, we'll need to actually check this with the Yoga Alliance website and all that, is as you're completing your yoga teacher training, you can still join this 5-day challenge, but then once you've completed your training, you can possibly, I'm not quite sure, retroactively credit the hours, because as a Yoga Alliance certified teacher, every 3 years I think you need to do, I can't remember if it's 45 or 30 hours of continued education, and this is either in person, so live classes, or for example non-contact hours of training like what we're doing right now. So this is something that we'll have to check, but I would encourage you to join this 5-day challenge regardless, because it will be definitely helpful for you, these 5 modules, if you're thinking of launching your yoga career in this coming year, or even maybe not even this year, the year after. Okay, so the last portion will be a little bit about who this is for, like the 5-day challenge. Probably I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I know within this group, some of you who are tuning in, some of you might have had many years of experience teaching, and some of you may be very, very new to teaching yoga. So this 5-day challenge has been designed in mind for teachers who are ideally newly certified, or you have roughly 2 years teaching experience or less. So teachers who are relatively new. Right. That being said, if you are an experienced teacher, definitely you might still benefit from this 5-day challenge, especially if you haven't found a way to identify your specific ideal student niche or your student target or your specialization, if that makes sense. And then of course, this would be more useful for you if you're already thinking of taking action. So I talk about this many times because every time in my videos, I give very useful tips and tips that you can actually take action on, because I'm not big on sharing information for information's sake. Right? We are yoga teachers, we're here to make a difference in the world. And this is the reason why I created the Art of Teaching Yoga. I love teaching people yoga, but I love teaching yoga teachers even more, because yoga teachers, think about it, every one of you, if you have 10 students, and if I touch the lives of 10 of you, you can then touch the lives of 10 other people. This is why I am very motivated and I love working with teachers. So I hope that watching this video, this masterclass or this Q&A session today will encourage you to begin to really think about it, right? Even if you don't see yourself as teaching yoga for a career, now having taken your yoga teacher training, would you like to begin to share whatever messages that really resonated with you, whatever learnings you have taken from your yoga teacher training this year in 2021 with the people around you, with the people that you know need and would benefit from yoga? So think about that if you're still a little bit hesitant. And for those of you in the group, and I know that there's a significant group of you who are like this, you might have a full-time job. And you might think that your full-time job is so lucrative. And then maybe you do love teaching yoga, but you're not seeing that as a viable alternative or even a viable path to consider. And you might just be teaching yoga once or twice, or maybe even once a month, and doing this free or by donation. I would encourage you to think about how you love yoga, right, and how you are called to share the benefits of yoga. And think about, if you begin to really see this seriously and you want to take it seriously and see yourself as a yoga professional, that means investing more of your time, whether it's your leisure time, right, that is used to rest after work, or weekends when you're using this to unwind or to engage in other hobbies. Instead, use that time to invest in teaching and sharing the benefits of yoga with more people, right? Not necessarily as a career, but really as a profession, as a part of your identity, if that makes sense, and your purpose and your existence. And of course, purpose relates to sustainability, because you can't just be doing these things, right? For example, for me, I teach yoga almost full-time now, and I do have various things. I do consulting, for example, for yoga brands. I also mentor new yoga teachers. So these are all different aspects of what I find is aligned with my purpose and I actually want to do, and I'm good at it, and I want to be accredited for my energy. And we'll talk more about energy in the module about selling and about this conversion and this flow of energy. But I invite you really to begin to approach this challenge with an open mind wherever you are right here on your journey right now. And yeah, the last point that I really wanted to iterate is to reinforce, not iterate, is that if you've signed up for the challenge, right, I really encourage you to show up and do the work. If you don't feel you're ready, join in, do it. Take imperfect action. Imperfect action is the way to go. The only way you will become a good yoga teacher is to start by teaching. The only way you will begin to build confidence to charge for your classes is to start charging. And the only way to start to see yourself as a yoga professional is to believe and to actually do it. And this 5-day challenge is the first step. Okay, so for the last couple of moments, I will just quickly check in to see if anyone has any questions. So once again, the logistical aspects of it, if you've registered already using the link which was in the group, right? If you don't have it yet and you want the registration link, please comment saying, I want to hop on, and then I will share the link with you. If you haven't already, please register, and then you will be able to get every day the Zoom link to hop on for the 5-day challenge, right, using the email that you registered. So I won't be going live in the Facebook group. I know that is something common in some of the other groups that other yoga teachers or other entrepreneurs do, but I'm only going to do this on Zoom, and it's only going to be teachers who are registered. So yeah, please check in on that. And then last couple of moments, I'm going to see if anyone has any questions. Rebecca, do you have any other additional questions as you're tuning in, if you are? Okay. All right, seems like there are no other questions. All right, if there are no other questions, then I really look forward to those of you who will be on joining this journey next week from Tuesday to Saturday. So because of this 5-day challenge next week we will take a break from the weekly masterclasses, and then I will update you guys again on the schedule for the various different things that I will be covering in the February masterclasses. So please take care, have a great rest of the week ahead, and also happy full wolf moon. Today is full moon. Oh, crazy energy. I don't know about you. I woke up at, I think it was 5 a.m. this morning because the moon was so bright and so full, and I felt all this energy and these ideas inside me. I just had to jump up and like to start moving and writing down. So also today, take extra care for yourself, right? Really take good care of yourself and use this opportunity to harness the energy of the full wolf moon. If you have any moon wolf rituals, it's a perfect time to set aside maybe just 30 minutes to do a bit of journaling, reflection. If there's anything you want to let go of, use meditation, movement, whatever it is to get it out. And then, yeah, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next week. Take care.